G'day viewers, the Colonel speaking to you live from the Lay Rectory, home of the Squire. And he and I have got back from the Seven Kingdoms. We've sorted them out. And I won't tell you how it ended. There was a lot of swearing, considerable amount of nudity and a lot of blood. And that was just as we were getting our armour on. Anyway, good afternoon to you, Squire.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And yourself, I trust?
Oh, very well, thank you.
Excellent. And you're going to show us a few of the machines from your collection.
Yes, I thought we'd have a look. We've talked a lot about gramophones, and I thought maybe today we will have a look at one or two of them and then show some that I've got here.
I should say this is by no means all you've got, is it?
Well, I think this is Gramophones Part 1.
Part 1 of many, like the curate's egg in many parts.
I think we have to start over here.
Certainly.
This one is an American gramophone. That's a Sonora. Around about 1922. And it's got... the sound box is adjustable. You can turn the end of the arm so you can use it like that to play Hill and Dale records, or turn it back that way to play ordinary records. And there's a button on the side that controls a shutter to alter the volume of it.
It's fairly simple, isn't it? It's a block of wood with two holes in it, one large, one small.
Absolutely.
And they were retailed in the UK, these ones,
oh,
I should
yes,
say.
They were sold by, I think it was, didn't Keith
Prowse
have the agency for those?
Yeah, Keith Prowse.
Well, that's me to rubbish out of the way. I
think I tripped over your sword earlier, Squire.
Oh dear.
One of them.
Well, the next one we're looking at here. Now, this is His Master's Voice gramophone. Not quite as old as it looks. I think this particular version is probably about 1940.
Right.
It's chrome plated, which the majority of them are nickel. And this is a colonial gramophone that came back from India. It was made in Calcutta. Now, it's very much a alteration of design on the Model 1 HMV 130 table gramophone. It has this flap on the front to protect the grill cloth, and then the lid closes down and you've got a clip there, and on the side there's a very stout carrying handle. Yes,
it is not easily carried though, is it?
No,
that is a heavy machine. When we talk about the HMV Model 130, it is a Model 130 in a heavier case, really, isn't it?
Well, as far as I know, it's made in solid teak.
Yes.
A lot of these colonial gramophones were. That was, they called it the Army Camp Transportable model, so it was designed for use in army camps and things like that, outposts of empire really, I suppose.
Well, yes indeed, and you've got the lovely grill or whatever it is there, which is rather like the veranda on a sort of colonial district officer's house in Simla or somewhere alike.
So. Yes, indeed.
You know, it is very redolent of the far pavilions and that sort of thing. Raj Quartet.
The next gramophone, I'm afraid I've got bits in here wrapped up. Now, this is a Columbia hornless table gramophone. This again is American made and is about 1911. Now, strangely enough, most Columbia gramophones have like a Venetian swell, like with two flaps you open and close with a knob on the side.
Yes.
But this, I think, is one of the very few I've ever seen where it actually has doors.
Yes, I've only ever seen three. I own one, this one, and there was another one once for sale.
I haven't seen
I think they got in trouble with Victor for, having doors as...
Possibly. So they... But there, this is dated underneath 1911. The sound box is a typical Columbia sound box of the time, and you can rotate it on the end of the arm to change the needle.
Yeah. Again, it was a device so you couldn't use an exhibition sound box.
No, exactly. Well, what we'll do now is we'll jump over here for a minute and go to this one.
Ah, this looks familiar.
Now this is His Master's Voice table gramophone Model 460, and this was made in about 1924, 1925. Now they only produced this model, well, Opinions vary, but I think it's fairly safe to say they only made it for about 9 months. Now the thing with this is it doesn't have a tone arm, sound box and horn like an ordinary gramophone. It has, the sound is made by this pleated paper diaphragm, and the needle goes in the bottom there. So I've got to put a needle in because we're going to play this one actually. So,
right.
So we put a needle in.
And the Lumiere diaphragm does in fact fold backwards, doesn't it?
Yes.
With those handholds on the side. I can't stress to people
if you ever have one of these gramophones, or ever see one of these gramophones, never ever touch the diaphragm. You've got those bits, grip it there, and then it folds down, and there's a slot in the back where it packs down for travelling.
Yeah.
Now if it doesn't go in that and it swings out and somebody closes the lid down, they can whack the side of the diaphragm and completely mess it up.
Yes, it can, and because the frame is only aluminium.
Absolutely, yeah. And then at the back there is a wooden rod coming up the back which takes the sound up to the middle of the diaphragm.
There we are.
Right, so let's try a bit of this.
Yeah, let's hear it. That'd be rather fun.
This is a 1920s dance record called Melancholy Lou.
Jolly good.
It's quite loud, and that is a soft tone needle.
Right.
So you imagine how loud that would be with a half or a loud tone needle.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm getting a bit hot for some reason.
Oh dear.
Golly. Yes, I've had tablets today that make me get hot, so I'm going to tend to boil up a bit today. Anyway, that's the Lumiere, and now if we look at this one, now this is a fairly standard HMV Model 109 table gramophone, but as you can see, this has come back from New Zealand and has these wonderful Maori carvings on it.
Yes,
done I think by the Maori carving school in Rotorua. Now it's rumoured it could be a royal presentation piece. Because the story goes that in 1927 the Duke of York and the Duchess, who later became Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, went on a royal tour to New Zealand, and they were presented with a gramophone that was done in Maori carvings. Now whether this is the one or not, I don't know, but the date is right and the quality is pretty good. So yes, it's another a fairly ordinary gramophone, but with the carving makes it new.
It's carved on all four sides.
It is,
it?
yes.
And
it's
on
got
the
these
top,
like Maori masks done in the side with these mother of pearl eyes.
On the top there we are. Wonderful.
Right. Well, if I move aside a minute, because you'll need to get in at the next one. The next one in the line is the Decalon. Now that one's around about 1920.
And that's a tabletop version.
Now normally they are, with that bowl in the lid, gramophones are either portables, the Deckers, or Decalons, and they're normally floor standing on a fairly weedy Chippendale style stand. I think that's the only table version I've ever seen.
And the thing is, the stand versions are slightly smaller than this one.
They are.
You know, they are only they're not very big at all. You know, there's the 109.
Exactly.
They're not big.
No.
They're the same style, exactly the same style. And this one has not been taken off a stand. But didn't you tell me that? And of course, the difference is this one has the Niello finish here and the black sound box to go with it. But also, didn't you tell me the inside of the lid and the behind the bowl and underneath the motorboard is all polished inside and out?
I believe so, yes. It
Extraordinary.
certainly was in the one I had years ago, a cabinet, the floor standing version that I actually I took the bowl out of.
And the winding handle, there's a
It's got
sprung
a lovely piece of wood on the side
thing,
to
yes.
hide the handle hole.
Wonderful thing.
Now the next gramophone is another very rare one. This is a 3 Muses gramophone. Now normally the 3 Muses gramophone company made repeating gramophones. That means it would actually play.
Yes.
It would actually play the same record, I think up to 3 times. I think they were made for dances and things like this.
It was a novel idea because
Yes.
everyone tried to bring out repeating gramophones afterwards.
Yeah.
But they never really caught on because they're not auto-changed, they just repeat the same
That's
record.
right. So there was a mechanism for lifting the sound box, swinging the needle back to the start of the record and lowering it down again.
And this has a strange trademark in the back which says the 3 Muses gramophones made by Repeating Gramophones Limited. And you've even got, there's the sound box, which is a big chunky one, Tremuser, which was their own patent sound box. But if you look at this one, viewers, notice anything odd? I've put the sound box on carefully. The sound box is on completely the wrong side, but there's no way of turning it over.
No, it's nothing actually.
And that great thick chunky tone arm, look at it, it's absolutely horrendous.
I know.
But luckily you have the wonderful original catalogue here too. We'll have a brief look at some of the actually rather boring models. There we go, this is this model, known as the Z3 table model. It's made to look like an old-fashioned knife box, which actually it does. Let's have a look what else they made. Made quite a few. And what date would this be?
I think it's about 1923.
Yes, there we go. That's the one that normally turns up. I say normally, there aren't many of those around either.
No, indeed.
Boring cabinet ones and various others. There's even the price list in here as well, which is jolly useful because they were not. Oh, there we go. Chinese lacquer one. They were not. Oh, the portable one. Look at that. I don't think any portable ones ever turned up. Maybe they didn't make them. Who knows?
Well, now the next one is another oddity. This is an American radiogram, early 1950s. Now the whole case is bakelite.
Good Lord.
So it's a lovely piece of bakelite. Now you have the tuning, the loudspeaker in the middle, and you've got the tuning dial around the outside of it. You've got the wave change there, and the volume on off there, and the tone control is in the middle there.
Good Lord.
Now we open it up, and there you see the Zenith auto changer in there.
Goodness me. Yes, Cobra-matic.
That's right.
And the tone arm there looks suspicious. It's got little eyes on, like a snake. How
Yes,
very curious.
I'll tell you a strange story about that. Do you remember that film they made a few years ago with Tom Cruise, the War of the Worlds?
Oh yes.
Well, you know that one of the sort of alien craft, these people are hiding in this building, and this like a snake comes in with 2 eyes each end trying to find them.
Right. I've never seen the film. It's actually in colour, so I don't watch colour films.
This thing like a snake, a sort of tentacle comes in trying to find these 2.
Right.
And it's got 2 eyes on the end. Well, I remember reading that they got the idea for that from one of those Cobra-matic record changers of the 50s.
How amazing. And where did you get that one from, may I ask?
I think I bought it from one of the big antique fairs, either in Newark or in Ardingly or something like that.
Because there can't be too many in this country because it won't run on English electricity.
No, one needs to get a 110 volt transformer.
Exactly.
The set does work. The auto changer needs a bit of servicing, and it does run slowly because the problem is that the American frequency is 60 cycles. Over here it's 50 cycles. So the motors will run a bit slowly. But it does. The radio worked very well when I put it on.
That's great.
It's what we call medium wave in this country.
Yes.
So it's just a one wave band radio with with a gramophone, because it's a very nice piece of moulded bakelite, and quite an unusual thing in this country.
Yes,
Actually,
absolutely.
in America, they're 42 a penny, but over here
Well,
it's
it's a
quite
massive,
rarity.
you know, these are made in presses, aren't they? So you need a
It's
big press to stamp all that out.
Work.
Incredible.
And then this is one of the latest acquisitions. This is the sort of, when we go into the radio side here, I picked this one up in a local charity shop last week, well, a week or 2 weeks ago. It's a Cossor radio around about 1934. It's had a considerable amount of work done inside, but it still works perfectly well.
Amazing.
And it's very strange because you've got this knob that turns the set on, and then you've got that one which is the tuner, which works the dial, as you can see the pointer. Then what you do, you tune it until the station comes in, and then this one in the middle is like a fine tuner. You tune that and get the best signal.
Right.
Well, now if all else fails and you're trying to get a distant station, you've got this knob, which for a set as late as this is pretty unusual, and it's called a reaction control.
Good Lord.
Now what that does is to make the set more sensitive. Reaction is automatic on later ones, but the problem is if you give it too much reaction, it starts whistling.
Oh.
Now in the old days, when people had large outdoor aerials, when it started whistling, or oscillating as they say, that used to be like a signal transmitted and would be picked up by anybody else in the area.
Oh dear.
So there were notices in the paper, please adjust your set, somebody is oscillating. Believe it or not.
I know a few people who oscillate quite a lot. I think they're a member of a certain society. Anyway.
Maybe have a look at this one.
Yes, why not, indeed.
I'm sorry the junk's in the way.
I think we should say this isn't the finished product, your collecting room. There's an awful lot more to come.
Oh,
but
I know.
It has taken a bit of time to get to this stage, and you've got a lot more stuff to get in and put up.
Indeed. Well, this is a Pi black box record player of about 1955. Done in Chinese lacquer. This was the top of the range version, and this one's a nice original version with a BSR Monarch auto changer.
Oh yes.
It does work, or did the last time I used it, but my interest does go from the early gramophones up to the 1950s and 60s, and then even further forward with hi-fi equipment.
Right.
Maybe if I get these boxes out of your way, you certainly want to see these things, which are actually where I store my phonograph settings.
Oh well, you've got to store them somewhere.
This one is another rarity. This one is basically a Japanese Columbia.
Right.
Now,
by the look of the fret, you can play it through the doors. That's an unusual one.
Then if you lift the lid, you see you've got a mirror in the lid. And it's one of sort of early Columbias with a dust ring round the turntable.
Ah, yes.
And you say the doors are fretted, and it's just got material at the back, so you can actually play it with the doors open or closed.
Wonderful. And it's got a Columbia tone arm, or Columbia type.
Yeah, that's right. That's
now, why has it got that retainer there?
I think it was probably designed to go into a case. But it's certainly designed to be very portable.
Right, and there's a rest on that side, isn't there, for the sound box?
That's right. Yes, for the needle.
Well.
Now, if I turn this sideways, if I move it round.
Oh yeah, there we go. Sankodo disc gramophone, Tokyo, Osaka, Pekin, Seoul, Shanghai, and Vladivostok.
So you see that one has come a very long way.
It has indeed.
I don't think there's a trademark on the back.
Yes, there is. Yes,
there is there? Oh.
Yeah, now the one's the Ideal. This model is called.
And there's also one on there. Look.
Oh yes, there you go. Ah. Yes.
So altogether, a jolly rare machine.
Oh, do you mind opening it up again?
Yes, of course.
There we go. That's lovely, isn't it? It's very strange now. I'm standing in front of this machine. You're being reflected and I'm not. I don't seem to have a reflection, Nigel. That's very curious.
No.
Anyway, maybe I don't exist. A lot of people have suspected that, and now we've proven it. And what's this delightful and completely original machine in the corner here? That really is glorious.
This is his master's voice hornless table gramophone. I think it's dated underneath 1913.
Yes.
It's a Model 6. in absolutely stunning, I believe, nearly
original condition. Yeah, that's absolutely original.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
wrong with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
A lovely original colour too, and the
Yes,
handles
yeah.
original. What's the tracking like? There we go.
Not too bad.
Not too bad, no.
Not too bad. No, Model 6. Beautiful
Magnificent.
gramophone.
That is a 12-inch turntable.
It is a
viewers.
12-inch turntable.
That
yes.
is a big machine.
And it's got these nice oval panels. It's one of the upmarket models with these oval panels.
It is. It's a rare machine. I don't think I've seen more than one or two others.
Well, I think maybe let's leave it at that for today.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for showing us a small part of your collection. Maybe at some other point we'll do some cabinet machines and some portables.
Well, there's no problem. I mean, I don't want to make it too long and boring.
Oh, it's certainly never boring.
Let's just do one more thing.
Right.
And this.
Hello. What have we got here?
What have we got here? Now this is something I saved from the scrap bin a good many years ago.
Yeah, we could have dusted before we came in, viewers, but we like to be al fresco here. Yeah. What on earth is that?
Right. Now, first of all, this is a solid steel case.
Steel? I thought it was plastic.
No.
It is. You know, you go, viewers, because I know some of you don't believe me when I tell you things, or Nigel. There you go, look at that.
Well, actually, that was developed to play a special record at 8.5 revolutions a minute.
8.5 RPM?
It's playing talking books.
Good Lord.
Now, in the 1950s, one of the bigger publishing events in the country was when Oxford University and Cambridge University presses brought out the New English Bible. And they did talking books of the New English Bible. And that, as far as I know, is a prototype machine that was designed to play them.
How extraordinary. Is that in the back there, the speaker?
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the turntable. How big is that? 5 inch? 6 inch?
No, 7. It's a 7-inch record.
7-inch record,
I think there's a label inside.
Oh, yes.
And if you see it, look, it says...
We can just catch that.
Pre-production model serial number 19.
Good Lord.
Now, you find another one of those. I've never seen
have you got any of the records so we could listen? Wouldn't that be wonderful to listen to the Bible, viewers?
Unfortunately, I have one in storage.
Oh, you have, right.
Because it came with one record on it.
Good Lord.
And I've never been able to find any more, but that plays at 8.5 revolutions a minute.
Well, that really is something unique,
it looks like a 7-inch 45, but it's...
Yes, and how long do they play for at 8.5 RPM?
I don't think I ever got that far as playing. There's a compartment in the back to put batteries in.
Oh,
it's transistorised.
I was going to say, is it battery or electric?
No, it's battery.
Right.
And I think it was basically maybe made for missionaries to take out into countries like Africa and places like that.
Well, I suppose
because
so.
I can't see any use for it in this country.
And it looks like you can play it with the lid down, or do you have to play it with the lid down?
No, I don't think so.
No. Is that a vent or a speaker?
Speaker, I think.
Yeah, I think that is, isn't it? For broadcasting, as it were.
Yeah. Now, I think if I remember rightly, how do you do it? I think you have to. Yes, you have to press. What you do is you press down here, and that lifts the needle off the record.
Oh, I see.
Because if you can show just down there, in that gap, if I lift it up, that's the cartridge coming down onto the record.
Oh, so it is, yes.
So you press it down like that to move it, and then that locks it in place.
Well, how extraordinary. And this must be on-off, and that must be volume.
I think that is, or some kind, maybe a speed control even.
Well,
but it is 8.5 revolutions a minute. How
extraordinary. Well, that is something well worth seeing, isn't it?
I've never seen, I know, I keep on, it is a fault of mine sometimes, I say I've been doing this job for 60 odd years and I've never seen another one. Well, I can't profess to have seen everything, but I promise I haven't seen another one of those.
Well, an awful lot has turned up in the last 10 years that were just in books before, but I don't think this has ever been seen before anywhere.
I've had that one for 40 years at least.
And it was in the bin, you say?
Yeah, in the scrap bin.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so I hooked it out and put it in the collection.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
so
amazing.
That's a little bonus one.
Extraordinary. Well, that's very, very interesting.
I'd like to welcome you back up here in another talk, but I thought we'll break it up a little bit, and otherwise it might get a bit heavy, might get a bit anarchy if we're not careful.
Well, people are very interested.
Exactly.
But the thing is, if we have several videos, we can go into more detail on things. So.
Of course we can.
You know, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for showing us these machines, Nigel. Hopefully the viewers have enjoyed our little visit. Any questions? Please write them on the video on YouTube, and I will put them to Nigel the next time we meet. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, viewers, and goodbye.